The legendary tacos of Mexico, an epic culinary saga spanning millennia. Tacos are far more than mere sustenance. They represent the living, breathing soul of Mexican civilization, a culinary masterpiece that has evolved over countless generations, while maintaining its fundamental connection to Mexico's indigenous roots. This is a story that begins not in modern taquerias, but in the ancient Mesoamerican civilizations that laid the foundation for what would become one of the world's most iconic and beloved foods. Our journey takes us back over 2,000 years, to the pre-Columbian era, when the Olmecs, often considered the mother culture of Mesoamerica, first developed the process of this revolutionary techniques, soaking and cooking maize in an alkaline solution of lime water transformed hard corn kernels into pliable, nutritious masa. Archaeological evidence from the Tehuacan Valley suggests this process was being used as early as 1,500 years before the Common Era, creating the essential building block for what we now know as the taco. The great Aztec Empire elevated this basic food to an art form. Bernal Diaz del Castillo, the Spanish conquistador and chronicler, described in his accounts of the 16th century how markets in Tenochtitlan, modern-day Mexico City, overflowed with vendors selling small tortillas filled with ingredients ranging from lake fish to insects like chapulines, grasshoppers. These proto-tacos were not just food, they were portable sustenance for warriors, convenient meals for farmers, and ceremonial offerings to the gods. The Aztec ruler Moctezuma himself was said to use tortillas as edible spoons to eat his food, a practice that would evolve into the taco we know today. The Spanish conquest in the early 1500s marked a culinary revolution in Mexico. The introduction of European livestock, pigs, cattle, sheep, and chickens, combined with Old World ingredients like garlic, onions, and various spices, created an explosion of new taco possibilities. Colonial era manuscripts describe how indigenous cooks began adapting their traditional methods to these new ingredients, giving birth to what we now recognize as authentic Mexican tacos. The 1700s saw the rise of regional taco specialties that would become legendary. In the silver mining regions of Taxco and Guanajuato, miners developed tacos de canasta, basket tacos, tortillas filled with beans, potatoes, or chicharrón, then steamed and carried to work in baskets lined with cloth to keep them warm. This practical invention became the precursor to modern street tacos. Meanwhile, in the Yucatan Peninsula, Mayan cooks were perfecting cochinita pibble pork, marinated in achiote and sour orange, then wrapped in banana leaves and slow-cooked in underground pits, creating one of Mexico's most distinctive taco fillings. The 1800s brought even more innovation. The state of Michoacán gave us carnitas pork, confit, cooked slowly in its own fat until achieving the perfect balance of crispy exterior and meltingly tender interior. Jalisco became famous for birria, originally made with goat meat, slowly stewed in a complex blend of dried chiles and spices. The northern states, with their cattle ranching culture, developed the iconic carne asada taco, grilled over mesquite wood and served simply with guacamole and salsa. Perhaps the most fascinating 20th century development came with the arrival of Lebanese immigrants in the 1930s, who brought their shawarma cooking techniques to Mexico City. Ingenious taqueros adapted the vertical spit to local tastes, marinating pork in achiote and chiles, adding a slice of pineapple for sweetness, and thus creating tacos al pastor, considered by many as the quintessential Mexico City street food. The vibrant capital's taquerias became laboratories of innovation, giving birth to creations like suadero, beef brisket, tacos, and the now famous tacos de canasta, served at legendary spots like Los Especiales in La Luganila Market. The late 1900s saw tacos conquer the world, but often in adapted forms. The American hardshell taco, popularized by chains like Taco Bell in the 1960s, became its own distinct category. Meanwhile, chefs like Diana Kennedy and Rick Bayless helped introduce authentic Mexican tacos to international audiences. In the 21st century, we've seen the global taco renaissance, with innovations like Korean-Mexican fusion tacos and gourmet versions featuring ingredients like black truffle or Wagyu beef. Yet, for all its global popularity, the true essence of the taco remains in Mexico's streets and markets. From the pre-dawn taquerias serving cabiza beefhead tacos to construction workers, to the late-night al pastor stands catering to revelers, tacos remain Mexico's great culinary unifier. They're served at birthday parties and weddings, in humble fondas and high-end restaurants, always adapting, yet always maintaining that fundamental connection to Mexico's ancient culinary heritage. The taco's journey reflects Mexico's own complex history, a story of indigenous ingenuity, colonial fusion, and modern innovation. Each bite contains millennia of culinary evolution. From the ancient nixtamalization process to today's cutting-edge taco creations, more than just food, tacos are edible history, a delicious manifestation of Mexican identity and resilience. As we explore the world's great dishes in this series, the taco stands as a testament to how simple ingredients, corn, chiles, meat, and the creativity of countless generations of cooks can create something truly extraordinary. Its story continues to unfold, with new chapters being written in Tijuana to Tokyo, ensuring that this ancient yet ever-evolving food will continue to captivate taste buds for generations to come. Pizza Margherita, Naples' edible crown jewel, the story of pizza. Margherita is nothing short of an epic culinary odyssey that begins in the sun-drenched alleyways of Naples and stretches across continents and centuries. This deceptively simple combination of dough, tomatoes, mozzarella, and basil represents the crystallization of Italian culinary philosophy, where exceptional ingredients, time-honored techniques, and regional pride combine to create something far greater than the sum of its parts. Our journey must begin in the ancient world, where the foundations of pizza were first laid. The Greeks and Egyptians both had flatbreads topped with oils and herbs, but it was in the Campania region of southern Italy that these proto-pizzas truly evolved. The volcanic soil around Mount Vesuvius proved ideal for growing durum wheat, while the nearby Laetare Mountains provided perfect conditions for dairy production. By the Middle Ages, Neapolitan bakers were creating simple piscia flatbreads topped with lard, salt, and occasionally cheese. The 16th century brought two revolutionary ingredients from the New World that would forever change Italian cuisine: the tomato and the buffalo. Spanish conquistadors introduced tomatoes to Europe around 1540, though it took nearly 2 centuries for Italians to embrace them. Meanwhile, water buffalo were brought from India, their rich milk perfect for creating what would become mozzarella di bufala. These two ingredients, combined with the wheat and basil, already abundant in Campania, formed the holy quartet of what we now know as pizza. The 18th century saw pizza become the quintessential food of Naples' working poor. Street vendors, known as pizzaioli, would set up makeshift ovens along the docks, selling slices wrapped in paper to dock workers and sailors. Writer Alexander Dumas noted in 1835 that Neapolitan pizzas came in 3 basic varieties: those with just garlic and oil, those with small fish, and those with tomatoes and cheese. The city's famous pizzerias began emerging during this period, with Antica Pizzeria, Portalba, opening in 1738 as what many consider the world's first proper pizzeria. The legendary royal visit that gave birth to the Margherita name occurred in June 1889 when King Umberto I and Queen Margherita toured their newly unified kingdom. The story goes that Pizzaiolo Raffaele Esposito created 3 pizzas for the royals at the request of the palace. The queen particularly enjoyed one featuring tomatoes, mozzarella, and basil colors that conveniently matched the new Italian flag. While some food historians question whether this was truly the first such pizza, similar combinations likely existed before. The royal endorsement catapulted this version to fame. The technical mastery behind authentic Neapolitan pizza Margherita is staggering. The dough must use specific 00 flour milled to an ultra-fine texture, mixed with water, salt, and natural yeast in precise proportions. After mixing, the dough undergoes a slow fermentation of at least 8 hours, often up to 24, at controlled temperatures. Master pizzaiolos stretch the dough entirely by hand in a process called stoglio, never using a rolling pin, creating that perfect balance of thin center and puffy cornicione edge. The ingredients are equally regulated. Only San Marzano tomatoes, grown in the volcanic soil of the Sarno Valley, can be used for the sauce. The mozzarella must be fresh Fiordi latte cow's milk, or the more luxurious Bufala water, buffalo milk. Basil leaves are added fresh after baking to preserve their delicate aroma. The pizza bakes for just 60 to 90 seconds in a domed, wood-fired oven reaching temperatures between 850 and 900 degrees Fahrenheit, emerging with that characteristic leopard-spotted crust, the Associazione Verace. Pizza Napolitana, AVPN, founded in 1984, maintains strict standards for what qualifies as authentic Neapolitan pizza. Their regulations specify everything from acceptable flour types to proper oven temperature to exact dough thickness. In 2017, UNESCO recognized the art of Neapolitan pizzaiolo as an intangible cultural heritage of humanity, cementing its status as a culinary art form. The global spread of pizza Margherita is a story of Italian immigration and post-war cultural exchange. Italian immigrants brought pizza to America in the late 19th century, with Lombardi's in New York 1905 becoming the first licensed pizzeria in the United States. After World War II, returning American G's craved the pizzas they'd eaten while stationed in Italy, sparking a nationwide pizza craze. Today, from Tokyo to Dubai to Buenos Aires, pizza Margherita serves as Italy's edible ambassador. Yet, despite its global popularity, the soul of Pizza Margherita remains firmly rooted in Naples. Historic pizzerias like Da Michele, founded 1870, Sorbillo, 1935, and Di Matteo, continue to serve pies that would be recognizable to 19th-century Neapolitans. The city's pizza culture remains vibrant, with new generations of pizzaolos innovating while respecting tradition. The annual Pizza Village Festival draws hundreds of thousands to taste variations from master pizzaolos. What makes Pizza Margherita truly special is its perfect balance of simplicity and complexity. On one level, it's just bread with 3 toppings. But executed properly, it becomes a revelation of texture and flavor. The crisp yet chewy crust, the bright acidity of the tomatoes, the creamy richness of the mozzarella, the herbal freshness of basil. It embodies the Italian culinary ethos of letting exceptional ingredients shine through minimal but precise preparation. As we continue our exploration of the world's iconic dishes, Pizza Margherita stands as a testament to how regional specialties can become global phenomena while maintaining their cultural roots. From its humble beginnings as street food for Naples' poor to its current status as a worldwide culinary icon, the journey of Pizza Margherita mirrors Italy's own transformation into a unified nation. Each bite carries centuries of history, tradition, and artisan craftsmanship, a delicious embodiment of la dolce vita. Sushi, the 2,000-year evolution of Japan's most iconic culinary art form. Beneath the seemingly simple combination of vinegared rice and raw fish lies one of humanity's most fascinating culinary evolutions, a 2,000-year journey that transformed a primitive fish preservation method into an internationally revered gastronomic art. Devastating earthquakes and wartime ingenuity, American reinterpretations and Michelin-starred perfection, all culminating in what we now recognize as one of the world's most sophisticated dining experiences. Our story begins not in Japan, but along the lush waterways of Southeast Asia around the 4th century. Here, in what is now modern-day Laos and Thailand, resourceful communities developed an ingenious method for preserving freshwater fish during monsoon seasons. By packing cleaned fish in layers of cooked rice and allowing the mixture to ferment. For months, sometimes up to a year, they created what we now call narazushi. The lactic acid produced during fermentation acted as a natural preservative, though the resulting product was so pungent that only the rice was initially discarded, while the intensely flavored fish was eaten sparingly as a condiment. This primitive ancestor of modern sushi would gradually make its way north through China before reaching Japan around the 8th century. The first written record of sushi appears in Japan's Euro Code legal documents from the year 718, where it's mentioned as a form of tax payment. For nearly a millennium, sushi remained primarily a preservation technique rather than a cuisine. The Heian period, 794 to 1185, saw the development of funazushi. In Shiga Prefecture, where carp fermented with rice became a regional specialty. During Japan's medieval period, the fermentation time gradually shortened from years to months, making the rice more palatable, though it still bore little resemblance to today's sushi. The true revolution came during Japan's Edo period, 103 to 1868, when 2 crucial developments converged to create proto-modern sushi. First, the widespread cultivation of premium short-grain rice varieties perfectly suited for sushi. Second, the booming fish trade in Edo modern Tokyo made fresh seafood more accessible. Street vendors began offering hayazushi fast sushi, fresh fish pressed onto rice that had been quickly fermented or vinegared, creating a dish meant for immediate consumption rather than preservation. This marked the pivotal shift from sushi as survival food to sushi as pleasure food. The early 19th century witnessed the birth of nigiri sushi as we know it, thanks to the legendary Hanaya Yohei, operating from a small stall in Edo's bustling Ryagaku district in the 1820s. Yohei made several groundbreaking innovations. He increased the vinegar in the rice to make it tastier, pressed the rice by hand into bite-sized portions, and topped them with slices of fresh fish, sometimes with a dab of wasabi between. Most radically, his sushi was meant to be eaten immediately, with fingers, making it the perfect fast food for Edo's busy merchants and laborers. This Edo-style sushi became wildly popular, spawning countless imitators and establishing Tokyo as sushi's spiritual home. The Meiji Restoration 1868 and subsequent opening of Japan brought dramatic changes. Refrigeration technology allowed fish to be kept fresh longer, while the development of railways enabled rapid transport from coastal areas. Sushi shops transitioned from mobile stalls to permanent establishments, with the first proper sushi restaurant opening in Tokyo in 1885. The Great Kanto earthquake of 1923 had an unexpected impact. It dispersed Tokyo's sushi chefs across Japan, inadvertently spreading Edo-style sushi nationwide. Modern sushi technical perfection borders on the obsessive. The rice must be short-grain japonica varieties, like koshihikari, washed until the water runs absolutely clear, typically 6 to 7 rinses, then cooked with precise water ratios varying by season. The vinegar mixture awazu combines rice, vinegar, sugar, and salt in proportions that many chefs guard as closely as state secrets. Fish selection follows ancient principles. Tuna maguro must be aged 3 to 7 days to develop umami, while whitefish like sea bream Thai benefits from ikajime, a spinal cord destruction technique that preserves texture. Even the wasabi matters. Real grated Wasabia japonica rhizome, not the dyed horseradish common in Western restaurants. The 20th century presented both challenges and opportunities. World War II nearly destroyed sushi culture. Rice shortages led to battlefield sushi padded with barley, while American occupation forces initially banned the traditional nighttime food stalls. Yet the post-war era saw sushi's dramatic globalization. The 1960s introduced kettenzushi conveyor belt sushi, making it more accessible. The 1970s saw sushi spread to America, where the California roll, invented in Los Angeles in 1974, adapted the tradition to local tastes. By the 1980s, sushi had become a global phenomenon, creating an international market for bluefin tuna that would eventually lead to today's sustainability concerns. Contemporary sushi exists in fascinating duality. At one extreme are Tokyo's Michelin-starred temples like Sukiyabashi Juro, where chefs train for a decade, 2 years just mastering rice before touching fish, and a 20-minute omakase meal can cost $300. At the other are supermarket grab-and-go sushi packs and innovative fusions like sushi burritos. UNESCO recognized washoku, traditional Japanese cuisine as intangible cultural heritage in 2013, with sushi as its most famous ambassador. The future of sushi faces critical challenges. Overfishing has decimated bluefin tuna populations, with a single fish selling for record $3 million in 2019. Plastic pollution contaminates seafood, while climate change alters fish migration patterns. Yet, in Tokyo's Toyosu Market, Tsukiji's successor, at 4 a.m., when auctioneers sell the day's catch, or in Osaka's meticulous Kizuki restaurants, sushi's soul endures. Each perfect bite, the slightly warm rice yielding to fresh fish, the wasabi's clean heat, the subtle sweetness of the vinegar, carries to millennia of history, innovation, and artistry. From fermented Mekong fish to today's edible masterpieces, sushi remains Japan's most delicious cultural export, proving that simple ingredients treated with reverence can become extraordinary. Butter chicken, the accidental masterpiece that redefined Indian cuisine in the smoky kitchens of post-independence Delhi. A culinary revolution was simmering, one that would give birth to India's most iconic dish. Butter chicken's journey from leftover salvage to global phenomenon is a tale of migration, innovation, and the alchemy of flavors that continues to captivate palates worldwide. The year was 1947. Gujarel, a refugee from Peshawar, arrived in Delhi with nothing but his culinary wisdom. In the labyrinthine lanes of Daryaganj, he established Moti Mahal, a humble eatery that would become ground zero for one of gastronomy's most fortuitous accidents. The story goes that one evening, faced with drying tandoori chicken leftovers, Gujarel made a decision that would change Indian cuisine forever. Instead of discarding the meat, he simmered it in a rich gravy of tomatoes, butter, and cream, adding a whisper of spices to create what we now know as Murg Makhani. But this was no simple act of kitchen thrift. Gujarel was drawing upon centuries of culinary wisdom. The technique of marinating meat in yogurt and spices hailed from Afghanistan's rugged frontiers. The tomato-based gravy owed its existence to Portuguese traders who brought the fruit from the New World. The lavish use of dairy reflected Punjab's agrarian abundance. In one dish, the entire history of Indian cuisine came together. Mughal sophistication meeting Punjabi robustness, all transformed through partition's disruptive creativity. The dish's preparation is nothing short of ritual. At dawn, whole chickens are broken down into succulent pieces, each scored to accept the marinade's embrace. The yogurt mixture, alive with ginger's heat, garlic's pungency, and Kashmiri chili's crimson hue, works its magic for a full 24 hours. In the tandoor's fiery belly, reaching 700 to 900 degrees Fahrenheit, the meat develops its characteristic char while staying miraculously moist. Meanwhile, the sauce begins its slow transformation. Tomatoes reduced for hours, with onions caramelized to sweetness, cashews ground to velvet, and spices toasted to awaken their essential oils. The final addition of fresh cream and butter, often up to 1/4 of the sauce's volume, creates an emulsion so luxurious it would make French chefs envious. What truly sets butter chicken apart is its perfect balance of contrasts. The bright acidity of tomatoes plays against rich dairy. The smokiness from the tandoor dances with garam masala's warmth. The subtle bitterness of fenugreek leaves methi provides the perfect counterpoint to the sauce's natural sweetness. This harmony of opposites explains why the dish became India's culinary ambassador, complex enough to intrigue, yet comforting enough to feel familiar. The 1960s saw butter chicken conquer India's culinary landscape. As the country modernized, the dish became a staple at weddings and celebrations, its vibrant orange hue symbolizing prosperity. By the 1970s, it had crossed oceans with the Indian diaspora, adapting to local tastes from London to Toronto. The 80s brought unexpected twists: butter chicken pizzas in Dubai, sushi rolls in Sydney, even poutine variations in Quebec. Today, it stands as the most ordered Indian dish worldwide, with Moti Mahal's original location still serving their legendary version to pilgrims of flavor. Modern chefs continue reinventing this classic. At Delhi's Indian accent, the sauce gets infused with applewood smoke. In London's Gymkhana, quail replaces chicken for a gourmet twist. Molecular versions appear in avant-garde kitchens, while vegan adaptations use cashew cream and plant-based butter. Through all these interpretations, the soul of the dish remains that perfect marriage of fire and cream, tradition and innovation. Butter chicken's legacy extends beyond the plate. It represents the resilience of displaced communities, the evolution of royal cuisine into democratic comfort food, and India's remarkable ability to absorb global influences while retaining its culinary identity. From roadside dhabas to temples, this accidental masterpiece continues to tell its delicious story, one buttery bite at a time. The hamburger: how a simple sandwich became America's culinary empire. From the smoky food carts of 19th century New York to the gleaming fast food temples of today, the hamburger's journey is nothing short of a culinary revolution. This deceptively simple combination of ground beef and bread has conquered global palates while remaining fiercely American at its core, a story of immigration, industrialization, and ingenious marketing that changed how the world eats. The hamburger's true origins are shrouded in the delicious mists of culinary history. While many credit Louis Lawson of Louis Lunch in New Haven for serving the first hamburger in 1900, the story begins much earlier. In the port city of Hamburg, Germany, during the 1800s, sailors and merchants enjoyed Hamburg steak, chopped beef mixed with garlic, onions, salt, and pepper. German immigrants brought this concept to America, where it appeared on Delmonico's famous New York menu in 1873 as the most expensive item at 10 cents. But the critical transformation from knife and fork meal to handheld sandwich likely occurred somewhere in the American Midwest between 1885 and 1900. Dozens of claims exist. Charlie Negreen supposedly flattened a meatball between bread at an 1885 Wisconsin fair. Fletcher Davis served burgers at his 1900 Texas cafe. The truth is probably that multiple people had the same brilliant idea across America's growing urban, transform from suspicious street food to national icon. This change began with J. Walter Anderson's White Castle chain, founded in Wichita in 1921. Anderson didn't just sell burgers, he sold cleanliness and standardization in an era when ground meat was distrusted. His innovations included the standardized square patty 5 holes for even cooking, The soft, steamed bunda assembly line, kitchen spotless white porcelain and stainless steel interiors mass production at 5 cents each. The 1920s also gave birth to the cheeseburger, though its origins are equally disputed. 16-year-old Lionel Sternberger supposedly melted American cheese on a patty at his father's Pasadena sandwich shop in 1924, while Kellen's restaurant in Louisville claims the 1934 invention. What's certain is that by the cheeseburger appeared on a menu at Denver's Humpty Dumpty Drive in World War II turned the hamburger into a global phenomenon. American G is craved burgers overseas, while at home they became symbols of wartime resilience and post-war prosperity. This set the stage for the McDonald Brothers' revolutionary speed service system in 1954, which reduced burger production to 30 seconds through precise equipment placement, strict division of labor assembly line preparation. 9-item Menuret Croc's franchising genius then propelled McDonald's to global dominance, making the hamburger America's most delicious export. By 1963, Americans were eating 3 billion burgers annually. The Burger King Whopper debuted in 1957, challenging McDonald's with its flame-broiled quarter-pound patty. The 60s saw Wendy's introduce the square patty and fresh not frozen beef in 1969. Today's hamburger landscape spans from fast food to haute cuisine. The science behind the perfect burger involves meat science, the ideal 80-20 fat ratio, usually chuck to brisket blend, thermodynamics, achieving the Maillard reactions flavor crust at 325 degrees Fahrenheit, engineering bun density to withstand juices without disintegrating, temperature, precision, cooking to 130 degrees internally for medium rare. Burger culture celebrates both innovation and tradition. Los Angeles In-N-Out maintains its 1948 standards with never frozen beef and secret animal-style preparations. Meanwhile, chains like Shake Shack have elevated fast casual burgers since 2001. The hamburger's global adaptations reveal cultural fusion at its tastiest. Beetroot and fried egg India's aloo tikki vegetarian burgers. Mexico's torta burger hybrids from plant-based Impossible burgers to gourmet foie gras-topped creations. The hamburger continues evolving while remaining true to its working-class roots. It's been to space astronaut burgers in 1965, inspired Art Warhol's hamburger prints, and even sparked political debates, the Freedom Fries era. More than just food, the hamburger is an edible piece of American history, one delicious bite at a time. Boeuf Bourguignon, the centuries-long evolution of France's most beloved culinary icon, from the misty vineyards of medieval Burgundy to the gleaming kitchens of modern Michelin-starred restaurants. Boeuf Bourguignon has undergone a remarkable transformation that mirrors France's own culinary history. This deceptively simple stew of beef braised in red wine represents much more than a traditional recipe. It embodies the very soul of French gastronomy, where humble ingredients are elevated through technique, patience, and respect for tradition. The earliest roots of this iconic dish can be traced back to the Burgundy region during the Middle Ages, when peasants needed to make tough cuts of meat from working cattle palatable. Historical records from the 14th century mention the practice of marinating beef in the region's acidic red wines, which served the dual purpose of tenderizing the meat and preserving it. By the 16th century, This cooking method had become sufficiently refined to appear in early French cookbooks, though it remained primarily a rustic dish prepared in a single pot over open hearths. The 18th century marked a turning point in the dish's evolution. As Burgundy's wine trade flourished, the region's cuisine gained prominence in Paris. Alexandre Dumas documented a version of the dish in his Grand Dictionnaire des Cuisines in 1873, describing it as beef simmered with bacon, onions, and herbs in Burgundy wine. This was the period when the dish began its journey from peasant kitchens to bourgeois dining rooms, though it remained distinctly regional in character. The true transformation came in 1903, when Auguste Escoffier included Boeuf Bourguignon in his seminal La Guide. By codifying the recipe and techniques, Escoffier elevated it to the realm of haute cuisine. His version called for meticulous attention to detail. 3 days of marinating the beef in young Burgundy wine, careful larding of the meat with pork fata, 12-hour cooking process at precisely controlled temperatures, the addition of mushrooms sautéed in butter as a garnish. 20th century saw Boeuf Bourguignon conquer the world. Julia Child's passionate introduction of the dish to American home cooks in 1961 through mastering the art of French cooking created nothing short of a culinary revolution. Her famous televised preparation on the French chef in 1963 demonstrated that even American home kitchens could achieve French culinary excellence, sparking a nationwide obsession with French cooking techniques. Modern interpretations of Boeuf Bourguignon reveal fascinating regional and creative variations in lion. Chefs insist on using only Charolais beef and adding whole pearl onions. Parisian bistros often include a splash of cognac for additional depth. Contemporary versions might feature sous vide preparation or molecular gastronomy techniques. Adaptations use mushrooms or root vegetables as the centerpiece. The science behind perfect Boeuf Bourguignon is as fascinating as its history. The marinade's acidity, pH around 3.5, begins breaking down collagen before cooking. Slow cooking at 180 degrees Fahrenheit converts tough collagen into gelatin. The Maillard reaction creates hundreds of flavor compounds. During browning, alcohol-soluble flavor compounds in the wine transferred to the fat. Today, Boeuf Bourguignon stands as one of France's most recognizable culinary exports, featured on menus from Tokyo to Buenos Aires. Yet its soul remains in Burgundy, where local chefs still debate the true version, whether to include carrots, the ideal wine to use, or the proper cut of beef. What began as peasant ingenuity has become a global symbol of French culinary artistry, proving that time-honored techniques can transform simple ingredients into something extraordinary. From medieval farmhouses to Escoffier's kitchens to Child's television studio, each iteration of Boeuf Bourguignon tells a story about its time and place while maintaining an unbroken connection to its rustic origins. It's this remarkable continuity, this living culinary history in every bite, that makes Boeuf Bourguignon not just a dish, but a cultural. Pad Thai, the noodle dish that became Thailand's culinary ambassador to the world. Beneath the vibrant, tangled strands of rice noodles glistening with tamarind glaze lies one of Asia's most fascinating food stories, a tale of national identity, wartime ingenuity, and culinary diplomacy that transformed a simple street food into Thailand's most recognizable global export. Pad Thai's journey from government-promoted staple to international obsession encompasses royal decrees, American GIs, and the alchemy of the perfect wok toss that continues to captivate palates worldwide. The dish's origins are surprisingly modern, dating to the nationalist campaigns of Field Marshal Plaek Phibun Songkram in the 1930s and 40s. Facing rice shortages and seeking to modernize Siam as Thailand was then known, the government actively promoted this noodle dish as part of its nation-building efforts. Cookbooks were distributed, street vendors trained, and radio broadcasts extolled the virtues of what was originally called Kwa Teo, Pad Thai, stir-fried Thai-style noodles. The choice of ingredients was deliberately economical, yet nutritionally complete. Rice noodles, cheaper and more shelf-stable than rice, tofu, and affordable plant protein. Dried shrimp, preservable without refrigeration, palm sugar, and tamarind indigenous. Flavorings, peanuts, widely available and calorie-dense. Bean sprouts, quick-growing and vitamin-rich. This culinary campaign coincided with Thailand's official name change from Siam in 1939, making Pad Thai literally and symbolically a dish for the new Thai nation. Street vendors quickly mastered the art of preparation, their charcoal-fired woks reaching the perfect 700 degrees Fahrenheit needed to create wok hei, that irreproducible breath of the wok that lends smoky depth to the noodles. By the 1950s, Pad Thai had become ubiquitous across Thailand, with regional variations emerging. Bangkok style, slightly sweeter, often served with fresh shrimp and banana leaf wrappers. A Thai version, featuring giant river prawns, and tamarind-heavy sauce. Northern adaptations, incorporating local vegetables and herbs. The Vietnam War era brought another transformative chapter when American servicemen on R&R in Bangkok discovered Pad Thai along Khao San Road. The dish's perfect balance of familiar noodles with exotic Thai flavors made it an instant hit, with vendors adapting their recipes to suit foreign palates. Slightly less fish sauce, more peanuts, and optional chili on the side. This cross-cultural exchange planted the seeds for Pad Thai's global journey. Authentic Pad Thai represents a masterclass in Thai culinary balance, harmonizing 5 fundamental tastes: sweet from caramelized palm sugar, preferably from samit; Provence, sour from aged tamarind paste, the darker the better; salty from premium fish sauce, like the squid brand preferred by chefs; bitter from blanched banana blossom, garnishes spicy from dried chili powder added to taste. The cooking process is a precisely choreographed 90-second performance. Rice noodles, soaked exactly 20 minutes until pliable but firm. Garlic and shallots, fried in rendered pork fat until golden. Eggs scrambled around the noodles to create silky, ribbon sauce components added in stages to control caramelization. Freeze, bean sprouts, and garlic chives added last for crunch. Modern Pad Thai exists in fascinating duality across Thailand. In Bangkok's Chinatown, elderly vendors still prepare it over charcoal fires, using recipes unchanged since the 1950s. At the same time, Michelin-starred restaurants like Nam create deconstructed versions with air-dried prawns and tamarind foam. The dish has traveled remarkably well globally, inspiring countless adaptations. New York, luxury versions with lobster and black Truffle London. Vegan interpretations with tofu skin and mushroom sauce, Singapore. Chili crab pad Thai, fusions loss. Angela's breakfast pad Thai with bacon and fried. UNESCO's recognition of Thai cuisine as intangible cultural heritage in 2017 formally acknowledged what food lovers already knew, that dishes like pad Thai represent culinary artistry worthy of preservation. Yet, for all its sophistication, the soul of pad Thai remains in Thailand's streets. Wherefore, 40 baht, about $1, you can still taste history in every tangled, saucy bite. A perfect metaphor for Thailand itself, sweet yet fiery, traditional yet adaptable, and always irresistibly compelling. From its politically charged origins to its current status as global comfort food, Pad Thai's journey reflects Thailand's remarkable ability to craft national identity through flavor. It stands as proof that the most iconic dishes often emerge from practical necessity rather than royal kitchens, and that good noodles can be as powerful as any ambassador in winning hearts across cultures. Paella Valenciana, the sun-drenched symphony of Spain's most iconic dish, from the fragrant orange groves of Valencia to the world's finest kitchens. Paella Valenciana has journeyed through centuries as Spain's most celebrated culinary ambassador. This golden masterpiece of rice, saffron, and fire tells a story of Moorish ingenuity, peasant resourcefulness, and Mediterranean bounty that continues to evolve while staying true to its rustic roots. The tale begins in the 8th century when Arab conquerors transformed Valencia's coastal wetlands into lush rice fields using sophisticated irrigation systems they called sequías. By the 15th century, Valencian farmers were cooking rice in wide, flat pans over open fires, combining 3 key local ingredients: the newly introduced rice, olive oil from ancient groves, and saffron brought by Phoenician traders centuries earlier. These humble origins birthed a cooking tradition where the pan paella gave its name to the dish itself. Authentic Paella Valenciana follows an unbroken culinary lineage with strict conventions. The rice, exclusively Spanish, bomba or calaspara, varieties grown in Valencia's Albufera, natural park, absorbs 3 times its volume in liquid without becoming mushy forms. The prized socarrat, caramelized crust when cooked properly. The proteins, free-range rabbit cut into 12 precise pieces. Snails collected after spring rains duck in. Autumn hunting season chicken, traditionally old laying hens for richer flavor. The vegetables, garofo beans, large buttery white beans, tavella beans, flat green beans, artichokes in spring versions, tomatoes crushed into the sofrito base, the liquid alchemy, saffron threads, hand-picked from crocus flowers, smoked paprika, pimenton de la vera, rosemary sprigs. For aromatic smoke water, traditionally from Valencia's calciferous wells. The 19th century marked paella's transformation from peasant sustenance to Spain's national treasure, when Valencia's bourgeoisie began hosting country picnics called paellas. Al aire libre chefs perfected the cooking technique over orange wood fires. The year 1889 saw the first written paella recipe published, cementing its status while sparking regional variations. Coastal adaptations added shrimp gambas mussels, Magellan's clams, Almea's lobster in extravagant versions. Mountain versions included partridge, perdiz, wild mushrooms, setas, pork ribs, costillas, The cooking process is a precisely choreographed ritual. The fire must reach exactly 180 degrees Celsius. Meats are browned in extra virgin olive oil for exactly 7 minutes. Vegetables are added at the 2-minute mark. Rice is toasted for precisely 60 seconds. Broth is added in 3 stages over 18 minutes. The pan is never stirred after minute 5 to develop. Sokarat Madorn Paella has sparked passionate debates about authenticity. In 2015, Valencia City Council published an official recipe decree specifying exact ingredients. Meanwhile, innovative chefs like Quique da Costa create avant-garde interpretations while maintaining respect for tradition. Global adaptations range from Japanese paella with dashi broth to Mexican versions with chorizo and Galapagos, from Valencian family gatherings to Madrid's finest restaurants. Paella remains Spain's edible sunshine, each grain carrying centuries of history, from Moorish irrigation to royal banquets to today's worldwide appreciation. More than just food, it's a cultural institution that continues to simmer with tradition while embracing creativity, proving that some culinary legends only grow richer with time. Feijoada, the heart and soul of Brazilian cuisine through the centuries, from the slave quarters of colonial plantations to the bustling botecos of modern Rio de Janeiro. Feijoada has simmered its way into becoming Brazil's most iconic culinary treasure. This rich, complex black bean stew represents far more than mere sustenance. It's a flavorful chronicle of Brazilian history, a melting pot of indigenous, African, and Portuguese traditions that tells the story of a nation's cultural evolution through each spoonful of its dark, aromatic broth. The roots of feijoada stretch back to Brazil's early colonial period in the 1500s, when Portuguese settlers first introduced feijão, preto, black beans, to South American soil. These hardy legumes found perfect growing conditions in Brazil's tropical climate, while various pork preservation techniques brought from Europe allowed meats to be stored for long periods. The true genius of feijoada emerged from the ingenuity of enslaved Africans who combined these European ingredients with native knowledge, transforming less desirable pork cuts, ears, tails, feet, and other offal into what would become Brazil's national dish. By the early 1800s, feijoada had become firmly established as a Saturday tradition in Rio de Janeiro's taverns and eating houses. The weekly rhythm developed for practical reasons, the lengthy preparation often beginning on Friday night suited the weekend, while the hearty dish provided ample energy for Sunday leisure activities. The traditional accompaniments emerged during this period: farofa, toasted manioc flour to soak up the rich broth, sliced oranges to cut through the fat, and crisp couve-colored greens for textural contrast. The preparation of authentic feijoada completa is nothing short of a culinary ritual, often spanning 3 full days and involving multiple generations of family members. The process begins with careful selection of ingredients: the beans, 2 kilograms of specially selected black beans, preferably from Minas Gerais, soaked for 12 hours in mineral-rich water, cooked slowly to maintain their structural integrity. Meats, typically 15 to 20 varieties: carne seca, sun-dried beef, soaked for 4 hours; Spio Portuguese, smoked sausage; linguiça calabresa, spicy smoked sausage; costela defumada, smoked pork, ribs, pork trotters, and ears for gelatinous. Rich no smoked pork loin and bacon for depth of flavor builders. A sofrito of 6 garlic cloves, 3 bay leaves, and 2 large onions, 3 types of chili peppers, 4 layered heat ringe, zest, and cachaca for brightness, say pig's ear added whole. For extra collagen. Day 2 involves the careful layering of flavors. The beans are cooked separately with a single smoked pork. Hockage meat is prepared individually to perfect its texture. Everything combines in a massive clay pot for a simmer. The broth is skimmed every 30 minutes for atitha. Final day focuses on accompaniments. Farafa made with 12 ingredients, including bananas and bakankuv manera, chopped in the traditional chiffonade style white rice, cooked in the feijoada brothe, fiery molho de pimenta, with 5 chili varieties, sliced oranges, arranged in the Bohemian style. The cultural significance of feijoada reached its zenith during the 1930s under Getulio Vargas' nationalist government. Promoted as Brazil's true national dish, it became a symbol of racial harmony and cultural synthesis. Modern regional variations reflect Brazil's incredible diversity. Minas Gerais version includes pork loin and cabbages, local beans, with thinner skins served with pio de queijo cheese bread. Bohemian adaptation incorporates denda oil and coconut. Milk features spicier seasoning, often includes seafood during Lençau Paulo interpretation, more European influenced with additional sausages served. With fried bananas includes breadcrumbs in the farfath. Science behind perfect feijoada explains why it's worth the extensive preparation. The beans' natural glutamates combine with smoked meats, umami compounds. Slow cooking at 80 degrees Celsius converts tough collagen into velvety gelatinacetic orange slices, provide enzymatic balance to rich, fat, toasted. Manioc flour offers textural contrast and aids digestion. Contemporary chefs have elevated feijoada while respecting its humble origins. At São Paulo's Mucoto, chef Rodrigo Oliveira serves a heritage pork version that takes 24 hours to prepare. Rio's Bar do Mineiro offers a seafood variation during Lent that maintains the traditional spirit. Meanwhile, home cooks across Brazil continue preparing feijoada using recipes passed down through generations, each family adding their own signature touches. From the simplest home kitchens to Brazil's finest restaurants, feijoada remains the country's edible cultural archive, each steaming bowl containing centuries of history, resilience, and culinary brilliance. It's more than a meal. It's a weekly celebration of Brazil's multicultural soul, a testament to how the most ordinary ingredients, when prepared with patience and care, can become extraordinary. The dish's enduring popularity proves that true national treasures are often born from necessity and shaped by diversity, their flavors deepening with each passing generation. Peking duck, China's centuries-old culinary art form, perfected to golden perfection. From the imperial kitchens of the Ming Dynasty to the world's most sophisticated dining rooms, Peking duck represents one of humanity's most meticulously perfected culinary achievements. This extraordinary dish, requiring days of preparation for mere minutes of consumption, encapsulates China's rich culinary philosophy, where texture, technique, and tradition hold equal importance to taste. The story begins in the early Ming Dynasty. When Nanjing's imperial chefs first perfected roast duck techniques around the year 1410. As the capital moved to Beijing in 1421, the dish evolved into what we now recognize as Peking duck, a culinary innovation so prized it was initially reserved exclusively for imperial banquets. Historical records from the 1530s describe elaborate duck feasts with 30 accompanying dishes served to foreign dignitaries. The selection process alone demonstrates the extraordinary care involved. The ducks, Pekin white ducks, bred specifically for this dish, raised in free-range conditions for exactly 65 days, fed a special diet of organic grains and spring water, slaughtered at precisely 3 kilograms for ideal fat distribution. The wood, aged fruitwoods, typically apple or pear, cut to uniform 15-centimeter length, saged 6 months for consistent burning, provides the distinctive aromatic smoke. The modern preparation is a 3-day symphony of culinary precision. Day 1, the preparation. Ritual. Live ducks inspected for quality before slaughter. Air pumped between skin and flesh to separate layers. Blanched in boiling water with precise mineral content. Hung with bamboo rods in climate-controlled rooms, coated with a secret malt syrup mixture. Recipes vary by establishment. Air-dried for 12 hours under specific humidity conditions. Day 2. The alchemy of firefruit wood, fired to exactly 270 degrees Celsius. Ducks rotated every 7 minutes for even exposure. Basted with a blend including honey, rice, wine, and secret spices. Roasted for 45 to 50 minutes until achieving skin transparency, showing the meat beneath golden amber hue, without dark spots. Sautable crispness when tapped. Day 3. The art of presentation. Master carvers with minimum 10 years training. Whole duck presented before guests. 320 slices cut in under 8 minutes. Each slice measuring exactly 0.5 centimeters, containing the perfect balance of glass-like skin. Tender meat, delicate fat layer. The traditional serving ceremony involves multiple courses. The crisp skin, served alone with white sugar eaten as an amuse-bouche, demonstrates the skin's purity. The signature pancakes, handmade lotus leaf wrappers, each 0.2 millimeters thickest, assembled with 2 skin pieces. 1. Meat, slice, hoisin sauce, chili, and vegetables. The secondary dishes: stir-fried duck meat with vegetables, duck bone soup with tofu, wrapped duck liver. The cultural significance of Peking duck cannot be overstated. During the Qing dynasty, it became a symbol of Chinese culinary sophistication. Chairman Mao declared it a national treasure in 1954. Today, Beijing's Quandude restaurant, founded 1864, serves over 2 million ducks annually, maintaining century-old techniques while innovating with modern presentations, like duck skin served on edible pillows of bread. Contemporary variations showcase global influences. New York's Hutong serves it with caviar and gold leaf. Singapore's Imperial Treasure offers truffle-infused versions. London's Min Zhang presents it with plum sauce. Foam. Yet the soul remains in Beijing. Traditional roast duck establishments, where 5th-generation chefs still follow methods unchanged since imperial times. Recognized as China's first protected culinary heritage item in 2008, Peking duck represents more than a meal. It's an edible cultural artifact, a masterpiece of culinary engineering, and proof that humanity's greatest gastronomic Achievements are worth preserving, exactly as they were perfected centuries ago. From its royal beginnings to its current status as China's most famous culinary export, Peking duck's journey offers a delicious lesson in culinary perfectionism. Each crackling bite carries the weight of 6 centuries of refinement, a reminder that true gastronomic greatness lies not in complexity, but in perfecting the simplest elements to their absolute zenith. Ceviche, Peru's 2,000-year culinary masterpiece, beneath the vibrant citrus marinade of Peru's national dish, lies an extraordinary culinary saga spanning empires, continents, and revolutions. This luminous marriage of fresh seafood and acidic juices represents far more than a simple appetizer. It's a living chronicle of Peruvian history, from ancient coastal civilizations to today's gastronomic revolution, each bite bursting with centuries of innovation and cultural fusion. The earliest roots trace back to Peru's Mocha civilization around 200 years before the Common Era, where ingenious fishermen along the northern coast discovered they could preserve their daily catch using the region's unique tropical fruits. Archaeological evidence from ceramic vessels reveals these ancient precursors combined fresh fish with fermented tumbo banana passion fruit, fiery ag peppers, and mineral-rich sea salt harvested from coastal marshes. The Mocha's sophisticated understanding of natural preservation methods allowed their seafood to maintain perfect texture and flavor under the punishing coastal sun, an early testament to Peruvian culinary ingenuity. As the Inca Empire rose to power between the 13th and 16th centuries, ceviche underwent its first major transformation. The Incas adapted the dish using chicha de jora, their sacred fermented corn beer, as the acidic marinade. This version incorporated seaweed from the Pacific coast as a natural umami enhancer and was prepared in stone vessels that maintained ideal temperatures. Historical accounts from Spanish chroniclers describe elaborate ceviche-like dishes served in the court of Atahualpa, the last Inca emperor, featuring fresh fish from the empire's extensive trade networks, combined with tropical fruits from the Amazon basin. The Spanish conquest in 1532 brought revolutionary changes. Citrus fruits, like limes and bitter oranges, arrived from Europe, while Mediterranean onion cultivation techniques and precise knife skills transformed preparation methods. By 1650, the first recognizable ancestor of modern ceviche appeared in Lima's colonial taverns, where African, indigenous, and Spanish culinary traditions collided to create something entirely new. The 19th century marked ceviche's golden age as it evolved into Peru's undisputed national dish. The invention of leche de tiger, the potent citrus marinade believed to cure hangovers and boost virility, became the soul of the preparation. Street vendors in Lima perfected the art of serving ceviche at precise temperatures, using blocks of ice carved from the nearby Andes to keep the fish perfectly chilled. This period saw the standardization of classic accompaniments: choclo, giant kerneled Andean corn; camote, Peruvian sweet potato with natural honey-like sweetness; and concha, toasted corn nuts for crunch. The rise of specialized ceviche in coastal neighborhoods turned ceviche preparation into an art form, with master chefs developing secret family recipes passed down through generations. Modern ceviche embodies Peru's culinary renaissance, blending ancient techniques with cutting-edge gastronomy. The science behind perfect ceviche reveals why timing is sacred. Citric acid denatures fish proteins at precisely 40 degrees Celsius, creating that magical transformation from raw to cooked in minutes. Contemporary masters like Gaston Acurio have elevated ceviche to global stardom while respecting its humble origins. Today's most avant-garde interpretations might feature Amazonian fruits, edible flowers, or pisco mist aromas, yet the essence remains unchanged. From Tokyo's Nekke ceviche bars to New York's luxury seafood temples, this Peruvian treasure continues its global conquest while staying true to its roots. Proof that great culinary traditions only grow more vibrant with time. Every element of authentic ceviche represents a masterpiece of selection and technique. The fish away's line caught and bled immediately must be one of 7 premium species, with Corvina sea bass reigning supreme. The limes come from specific valleys where mineral-rich soil produces perfect acidity. Preparation becomes ritual knives, sharpened to molecular precision, onions cut on ice to maintain crispness, ají peppers carefully seeded to control heat, served in hand-carved ice vessels at exactly 12 degrees Celsius, accompanied by its golden leche de tiger in separate bowls. Modern ceviche is both ancient and contemporary, a dish that continues evolving while carrying to millennia of history in every luminous bite. UNESCO's recognition of Peruvian cuisine as cultural heritage in 2013 formally acknowledged what ceviche lovers had known for centuries. This is more than food. Its edible history. From Mocha fishermen to Incan emperors, Spanish colonists to today's culinary innovators, ceviche remains Peru's most delicious ambassador, vibrant, ever-evolving testament to the power of simple ingredients transformed through time, tradition, and boundless creativity. Each citrus-kissed bite offers a taste of Peru's soul, bold, bright, and endlessly surprising. Kebab, the 1,300-year odyssey of fire and meat. Beneath the smoky aroma of sizzling meat lies one of humanity's most enduring culinary epics. A story that begins with Central Asian horsemen skewering meat on their swords and evolves into today's global street food phenomenon. The kebab's journey, from nomadic campfires to Michelin-starred menus, spans 13 centuries of war, migration, and cultural exchange. Its simple perfection, surviving empires and adapting to countless civilizations while never losing its primal soul. The first recorded kebabs emerged among Turkic tribes roaming the Central Asian steppes in the 8th century, where warriors discovered that threading meat onto their shamshir swords and grilling it over desert fires created the perfect portable protein. Persian scholars documented these early shish kebabs in 9th century culinary texts, noting how the Seljuk Turks perfected the art of marinating lamb in yogurt and mountain herbs. By the 11th century, the vertical rotisserie method appeared in Anatolia, giving birth to the diner kebaba, revolutionary technique where stacked meat rotated against a roaring fire, its dripping fat basting each layer to succulent perfection. The Ottoman Empire transformed kebab into high art during its 16th century golden age. Istanbul's palace kitchens employed 40 specialized kebab chefs, each mastering distinct regional styles. Adana kebab, hand-chopped lamb kneaded with fiery Aleppo pepper and tail fat, pressed onto flat iron skewers that conducted heat perfectly as kebab, thinly sliced diner, served over pied bread with brown butter and tomato sauce. Invented in 1867 by Iskender Effendi in Bursatesti kebab, meat and vegetables, slow-cooked in sealed clay pots, cracked open tableside dekka kebab, horizontally stacked meat, roasted over oak embers, the ancestor of modern Dana reverie. Element followed sacred rules. The lamb came from 6-month-old male sheep, fattened on Thracian pastures. The charcoal was made from aged pistachio wood that burned at 700 degrees Fahrenheit without smoke. And the spices followed exact ratios recorded in imperial ledgers. The sultans employed food tasters specifically for kebabs, judging masters by how evenly the meat cooked from edge to center. The 19th century saw kebabs explode into global consciousness. Armenian refugees introduced the Khoravat style to Russia, while Lebanese immigrants brought shawarma to Mexico. But the true revolution came in 1945, when Bedi Guler, son of a Yugoslav immigrant, opened his Istanbul restaurant and wrapped diner in lavash bread with garlic yogurt, creating the prototype for today's ubiquitous kebab wraps. Modern kebab culture exists in fascinating duality. In Istanbul's backstreets, ustamasters still prepare kebabs, using techniques unchanged for centuries, hand-mincing meat with crescent-shaped zır knives, marinating in copper pots, and grilling over handmade mangal grills. The best spots guard their spice blends like state secrets, passed down through generations. Meanwhile, global adaptations showcase astonishing creativity. Berlin's doner kebabs with curry powder and cabbage. Salad Sydney's kebab pizzas with chili sauce and mozzarella. Tokyo's Wagyu beef kebabs with teriyaki. Glazelet's vegan kebabs with seitan and harissa aioli. The kebab's magic lies in its elemental perfection, the Maillard reaction, creating hundreds of flavor compounds as meat chars over flames, the rendered fat basting itself, the spices caramelizing into complex layers. Whether served on silver platters in Gaziantep or paper wrappers in New York, it remains one of humanity's most democratic luxuries of food, of warriors and kings, immigrants and entrepreneurs, forever reinventing itself while staying true to that first bite of fire-kissed meat on the wind-swept steppes of Central Asia. From Genghis Khan's battlefields to today's food trucks, the kebab's 13th century journey proves some culinary ideas are timeless. Each smoky, spice-crusted bite carries the resilience of nomadic cultures, the refinement of imperial kitchens, and the endless ingenuity of cooks who keep reinventing tradition one perfect skewer at a time.